Hello, hello. Let me, I don't know if I'm on the right Facebook group. Which one is disconnecting? Oh, nope, I think I'm good. All right, we're good. We're good. It's disconnected to something, but this one is still here. All right, we're getting live on Instagram as well. All right, so welcome. This is Scaling Simplified. Now, you might be hearing this in a few places, but the one place that you want to make sure you are hearing it or watching this is in our free Facebook group, Foot Traffic Operations. So if you're on Instagram or you're listening on the podcast, I want you to head in the Facebook group because I'm going to be sharing my screen and working through this framework. And it's not going to be as effective without the visual. Now, you're still going to get a lot out of it, but I want you to make sure you kind of pause where you are and jump in our Foot Traffic Operations Facebook group. Sound good? All right, let me know who's here, who's live. Say hi in the chat. Where are you watching from? And let's kick it off. So, Instagram, I'm not ignoring you. I'm looking at this camera. So please know if you want to come on over, jump in our Facebook group. All right, let's do it. So today we're talking 3 steps to financial freedom, how to increase your cash flow without adding a new product, right? We're not here just to think more. More doesn't always equal more income, right? Even if you've tried everything and your margins are not the greatest, okay? So this is a free challenge going down all week at 11 a.m. Central in our Facebook group. We are teasing it out in a few other places today, but if you want to join us for day 2, you're going to want to hang out in the Foot Traffic Operations Facebook group. Go to scalingsimplified.co, and then immediately on the next page, it'll direct you to the group. Now, our goal here is to help you increase your cash flow, grow your profit, and create time wealth, right? Really build an asset, a business that doesn't rely on you. All right. This is not a selfish thing. When people hear like, oh, you don't work in your business, like you work on it, but you don't work in it. And they think it's something I've done selfishly for myself, but it's actually something that I do not just for me, but for my team. If my business relies on me, if it needs me to run, what happens if something happens to me? Everybody's out of a job, right? We do not want that to be the case. We want to build an asset. We want to build protection. We want to build security. We want your team to feel so secure in the company they are working for, right? So we're going to show you how to maximize what you have, get your team set up with clear objections and goals, and light a fire under everyone. Now, my biggest suggestion to you this week is if you have leaders in place, I want you to have them watch this with you. Invite them to be here with you. All right. It takes a village. And if you are always bringing ideas back to your leaders, but sometimes it's hard to get them on board or for them to be as excited as you. How many of you have gone to a conference, come home, teach your team something, and you're like, they're not getting it, right? And it's because you might have just sat in a 3-day event for 8 hours, 12 hours. You come home and in 30 seconds, you've tried to like given them the same motivation. No, you're right. They're not getting it. That is why I want you to get them here. Let's drink the Kool-Aid together. Let's get excited together, right? Because together you will be a force that cannot be stopped. So I really, really want you bringing your team here with you. If you've been doing this alone, it's too much to carry, right? And it's not necessary for you to do it all by yourself. Let your team help you. So if you want to shoot a quick text or let them know to get in here, do that now, all right? Or let's say it's too late for today, assign them to watch this today. Say, hey, I want you to spend like 30 minutes going through this, and then have them join us live the rest of the week. Now, I've got some notes and things I want to share. I want to go over some housekeeping really fast so you know what to expect this week, okay? So first of all, clear your calendar. I can't tell you how many people will have appointments and things. They're like, oh, it's not a big deal. I'll just watch this later. And then they're scrambling to clear their calendar the rest of the week. This is going to be different than things you have seen before. You are going to want to be here live, right? To miss a little is to miss a lot. Do not think, I have just 10 minutes here, or I've got to skip one call. I want to see you here each and every day. I'm going to find out very quickly who are the starters and who are the finishers. Trust me when I say you've got to make sure you are good at both if you want to be in business and get things done. There's going to be prizes each day. So today you'll see on the screen, we are going to be giving away, it's just a blank journal. And on the outside, it is our manifesto. I am a powerhouse. We're going to talk through this today. This is something, if anybody is saying hi, engaging, this is in the Facebook group only. Talk to me, engage with me, let me know who's here, and somebody's going to I'll ship this to you today. All right. So that's coming up. So there's gonna be prizes, different prizes every single day. And then prizes for the 5 most engaged people inside of our Facebook group this week. We can see with analytics who is the most engaged, and the top 5, we're gonna be sending you some extra prizes as well. And then VIP, we are going to be, we've got our VIP extra bonus. We kick it off tomorrow. So I want to make sure that get it now. We're going to be raising that up to 197. It's only 47 right now. I believe it's just somebody, my team can put that in link in the chat. I think it's stacytosha.com/VIP. But that's going to get you 4 bonus Q&A calls. So tomorrow, 10:30 to 11, Tuesday through Friday, I'm going to be here doing hot seats, giving extra coaching, going through some things deeper. You're going to see that, but lots of good stuff coming your way. So make sure to get signed up and registered for that. What we're going to be covering today is a brand new framework that I'm going to be working through and sharing with you. This is called well-oiled operations. We are going to get your business like a well-oiled machine. Who here is ready for that? Say me in the chat, okay? A couple just to show you like other people saying this. So this is Lindsay. She's somebody that is using our program, working through it. She said, we drastically increase our productivity and improve the successful completion rate of day-to-day tasks. That can be you. All right. This is Tiffany. She said, in 2021, my business grew exponentially and I maxed out what I could do alone without a team. I set a goal this year to build a team, grow the business, and have more time for myself. Who here wants that? Say me. She said, along came Woo. That's well-oiled operations. I jumped on the opportunity and it's just what I needed. All right. So we're going to be working through, oh no, hang on. All right. That might be an issue. Why did I not hit snooze? Okay. So with that said, we are going to be jumping right in. One big warning that I will share really quickly. One big warning. You're going to hear things that will excite you. And by the end of the day today, you'll have promoted somebody to a leader. You're going to be like, I'm missing a leadership team. You're going to promote somebody. Please don't. Okay. Let everything sink in this week. All right. If you're bringing your leaders, you're bringing your team, don't have any serious conversations yet or make any bold moves, including firing, hiring. You know what I'm talking about, right? At least until you've heard the trainings this week. Start brainstorming, start talking, but let's make sure you've caught on to everything before you start to make any big, bold moves. Okay. Especially day 5. We're literally talking 7-figure mistakes. You want to hear some of that before you jump in. Sound good? Now, I will tell you, it doesn't hurt to have anybody on your team watch this. If you're like, do I want to promote this person? Do I not? Doesn't matter. Having anybody here to help you is just going to help them get on board to go, okay, I think we could do this. I think this would make sense. Our most successful clients do this with their teams, and the collective momentum gets them to actually implement, right? Trust me when I say you will thank me later. Now, let's dive in. Okay. So when small businesses are looking to grow their business, they typically look for what? Marketing. They think we need more people. We need more visibility. We need more marketing strategies. How do I know that? Because we have a marketing program and it has had hundreds of people, small business owners, go through it. And I see where they are and I see what beliefs they have as they come into the program. What many of them don't realize is your lack of operations can make any good or great marketing strategy ineffective. I'm going to say that again. Any good or great marketing strategy with a lack of operations behind it can make it ineffective. All right. So here at Foot Traffic, we help people get more customers through the door, more profit in your pocket, more happiness in your home. Now, I know it can be really, really exhausting to run a business, to look successful on the outside, but to be drowning on the inside. Does anybody know that feeling? Right. So today, yes, things are amazing today. I'll kind of quickly share, really quickly share a tiny bit about me. And then we're going to just really jump into that new framework. So if you don't know who I am, I own 2 different 7-figure businesses, meaning we gross over $1 million per year in both of those businesses separately. I work exclusively from my home. I take several family vacations. We literally just got home from Mexico last night or yesterday. Some with my family, some with just my husband and myself. I have really great boundaries. We are financially doing well, and I have a team that I trust fully and can step away and know the business is in good hands. They had a phenomenal week last week, and I wasn't here. Okay. So trust me when I say, though, I didn't start there. We're going to talk about really quickly what this looks like. So I have two performing arts academies, dance and music, and I have not worked in the day-to-day operations in almost 10 years. I strictly work on the business from my home office. Okay. I'm just as invested in it, but I'm working on it, not in it. About 7 years ago, I started to teach other people how to do this as well. All right. Now, here's what I will tell you. There are many stages of a business. Okay. Like I said, I didn't start here. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. So, first of all, the first stage of business that I kind of want to work through is what I'm calling the pioneer stage. All right. So, the pioneer stage is this first stage of business. You're a solo entrepreneur, you're out adventuring on your own with this new idea, not quite making money yet. Or if you are, it ebbs and flows. There's not a ton of consistency. Some months are great, some months not. You're under that 100K mark, right? 100K per year. So that is who I would consider a pioneer. Okay. Next up, Pathfinder. You start to find your way. You're actually gaining some traction, right? You know you've got something, whatever this is. Your products are more solidified. You know your ideal client. You're probably making more on that 100K range and up. Your first 100K is the hardest, right? And once you crack it, you've gained so much clarity with this stage. Possibly you're still a solopreneur. You might have one or two people helping you, making money, but probably still not paying yourself or very underpaid for what you should be doing. So that is what I would consider a pathfinder. Okay. Next, a power player. You're in the game. It feels like you're winning. You're probably over that $250,000-ish in yearly annual revenue. You're adding people to your team. You realize you don't want to do this alone anymore. You're learning how to delegate, but you're definitely a work in progress, right? There's a lot to still learn. You're now focusing more on profit margins, but not still exactly paying yourself what you'd like. And there's definitely room for improvement. Okay. So that is a power player. Next, a powerhouse. Money is no longer like your biggest issue, I should say, right? You're high multiple six figures, 7-figure plus, possibly. You're heavily focused on transferring responsibility over to your team so you can truly step out of the day-to-day operations. You focus on things that you love and let everyone do the rest, right? Profit margin is healthy. You're paying yourself a solid, consistent paycheck, all the things, okay? Now, here's what I want to ask you, and I don't want this to be dramatic. I don't want this to be like you're shaming yourself. I'm going to ask you, where are you right now? Who are you right now? Put in the comments, are you a pioneer, a pathfinder, a power player, a powerhouse? And here's why I don't want you to feel weird about saying I'm a pioneer or a pathfinder or whatever you say, okay? Is because everybody starts at the pioneer stage and then they move to pathfinder. No one gets to opt out of one of these stages, right? Maybe you moved through it very quickly, but you definitely moved through it, okay? So here's what I'm going to suggest. How many of you know you're capable of becoming a powerhouse? Say yes in the chat. Like, you know it. You are capable. It is in you. You will not stop until you get it. Say me or say yes in the chat, okay? What I want you to do, what I hope you take this from me, is I want you to identify as a powerhouse right now. You might be in this stage of a pioneer or a pathfinder or a power player. I see a lot of mix in here, okay? But I want you to already get in your head that you are a powerhouse. Not that you're going to be, but you are a powerhouse. Right now in the chat, say, I am a powerhouse, okay? And just so you know, when you say I'm a powerhouse, and I'll say this, I am a powerhouse and I only hang out with other powerhouses. So if you're here right now in this room, I know you are a powerhouse, okay? You want to find other like-minded individuals. All right. You're in the right room this week. The people on my team are powerhouses. The clients we work with are powerhouses. The people we attract are powerhouses. All right. Start thinking about that. Now, you're going to see this come up a lot. So this is our manifesto, and I want to read it, and I want you to read it with me. Okay. So I am a powerhouse, a go-getter, trailblazer, high-level entrepreneur. This is really small for me. I'm going to switch over here to read it. I didn't choose entrepreneurship. It chose me. I am paving the way and making space for others while raising the standard of excellence. I am a dreamer, doer, and believer. I will not be stopped. I want it all and I won't settle for anything less than everything. I show up for myself, for my family, for my team. Life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. I create, inspire, and challenge. I am an intentional implementer and a content machine. I will leave a mark on this world because I am a powerhouse. Okay. I want you to own that. I want you to have that be every ounce of you. Okay. Now, one fun thing my team did is they took that manifesto and they turned it into a screensaver for your phone. So we're going to put that on our Instagram today on our stories. We'll let you be able to screenshot it and save it to your phone. I want you to see that you look at your phone more than you look at anything all day long. I want to remind you every single time you look at your phone that you are a powerhouse. You've got to act that way now if you think you're going to get there someday. Sound good? Who is committing to put this on their screensaver today? Take me when you do it. I want to celebrate you as you put that on there as well. All right. Now, time to get into the real, juicy stuff and dive in. All right. Who's ready? Say me in the chat. I'm super excited to do this with you. This is a brand new framework that we're doing. All right. Now, again, if you're on Instagram, come join me in the Foot Traffic Operations Facebook group. That group is filling up. Get over here. Let's start diving into this. Okay. Now we're diving in. We're going to go through here. Here's what I want to tell you before we actually jump in. And I'm going to take this down for just a second. Okay. So there are always two sides to everything, right? There is what you see and what is really going on. So one of my businesses is I have two children's performing arts academies. I was a dancer, right? So what I call these two sides is the performance, it's what you see, it's the stage, right? And then practice is what is behind the scenes, what is really going on. Now, back in 2014, I thought I had reached really, truly at that time, the most amazing level of success. I was a new mom. I was exclusively working from home and I was out of the day to day operations. The business was producing over 7 figures a year. I was collecting a consistent, pretty good paycheck, right? I thought this was what success really felt like. This was also the performance that everyone saw or assumed, right? When I look back now, having experienced a different level of success, here is what I actually see. I see a non present mom multitasking, parenting while working. The computer was glued to my lap and my phone was always nearby. So, Tanner, my oldest daughter, she thought it was this game where she would come up to me as soon as she learned how to walk and she would slam my laptop shut, right? Talk about a distraction, but also talk about kind of a slap in the face of she's literally telling me without speaking, you're working too much, right? And I felt that guilt. I felt the guilt of having to keep Tanner at home while I worked because what would people think if I sent her to daycare when I was home all day? So I thought I'm going to have to do this all. I'm going to have to be a stay-at-home mom and I'm going to have to continue to run this 7-figure business while doing both at the same time. My husband, Kent, he worked second or third shift. So he was usually sleeping during the day and working while we were sleeping. So I was solo parenting on top of this. He was on the Milwaukee SWAT team. And whenever work needed him, he just would have to leave. Like he didn't just work 8-hour days. Sometimes he would work 20-hour days. And I was doing all of it. I felt the pressure to do it all and be everything to everyone. How many of you feel like that a little bit right now? So what's crazy is I believe life was great. Like I actually thought I was really happy and that was it. Like I had made it, right? Because my life was so miserable in the startup phase, in the pioneer phase, right? When you're a pioneer, there's so much going on, right? It's like having a newborn. You're doing all the things. You're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not all the things, right? And when I got to Pathfinder, right now I started to go up, I started to think, oh, this is it, right? But you just don't know what you don't know. And you've got to be really, really careful. Now, as Tanner was basically screaming, stop working, right? I couldn't. They needed me. I might have been out of the building and out of the day-to-day operations, but I was still everywhere. I was in all the things. I was still micromanaging. I had a team, but I wasn't letting them own anything or take on any responsibility. How many of you actually have leaders, but you're not really letting them lead? Say me in the chat. Okay. Now, there are stages of delegation, and we're going to cover them all week. But I was still in the stage where I had to double check everything because I didn't fully trust what was going on. And I look back and I'm like, what was I doing? Why did I do that? Right? I didn't fully trust them. It's not that I should say this. I didn't trust me. It's not that I didn't trust them. I didn't trust that I knew how to hire, how to train, how to let them be. Now, did I make the right decision leading up to this point? Did I hire the right people? Did I put them in the right seats? That's where I was getting nervous. And that's where I was losing faith in myself. Okay. I was just at a conference and they talked about the word, this was from Myron Golden, the word confidence comes from confide, which means to trust. And when you're lacking confidence, it's that you're not trusting yourself. It is time, powerhouses, right, that we step up and trust ourselves a little more than we have been. Now, when you use our framework, you will trust at another level and you'll be able to begin to transfer that trust to other people. So that's what we're going to cover today. Now, before you think, I'm not ready yet, my business is just too new. I had somebody this weekend say, I think this sounds like it's for me, but I'm only 14 years in business. Do you think I'm ready for this? I'm like, yes, like 14 years in business, 100%. Do not think I'm only 2 years in, I'm only 3 years in. Because what happens is one day you'll say, I'm 14 years in. Should I have done this already? And the answer is you should have, right? So you've got to start now. You've got to start somewhere, okay? So these are foundational principles. When you want to go from pioneer to pathfinder to power player to powerhouse, you're going to use this framework over and over and over. Now, if you've been doing this for a while, years, decades, let the shame go. You are not here to be like, oh my goodness, how do I not know this? You are here to go, okay, I am well aware now and I'm going to make this better. Every mistake you've made is a learning lesson. Sometimes they're very expensive learning lessons, but it could always be worse. All right. So I want to ask you to do two things. First, I want you to separate yourself from the business. Separate, you are not your business, and your business is not your baby. Okay. How many of you have said, my business is my baby? We have become so attached to our businesses, but the problem is most entrepreneurs, their business as their baby, as we treat it that way, we never let the baby grow up. Babies get bigger. They become toddlers. They go to kindergarten, then middle school, right? And then hopefully one day they leave the nest. That's one of the biggest problems I see is owners holding onto their business as a baby when it should be in high school. It should be a toddler by now, right? So you're actually going to be talking about this more. I think I covered this more on day 4 about really progressing to the next stage. All right. Second, you right now are this year's version of you. Okay. Just think about that. You are the 2022 version of you. The mistakes you made in the past do not make up your identity. And you are about to enter into the next version of you. And it's a whole nother level, right? It's a whole nother level. But I need you to be open to the transformation. I'm asking you to disown what you've been believing and to let this business start to fly on its own. Now, you may not believe you're ready, but let's be honest, it's probably not ready. But by the end of this week, I want you to believe you're ready to step into that. How many of you are going to be open and can commit to being open, to being willing to seeing this in a different light? Say me in the chat. All right, here's the deal. So you can't be in denial as we go through this process together. We're going to get into the really good stuff right now. All right. I need you to be really, really honest with yourself and your team. Do not give yourself 10s in these areas and just, right? Because all that's going to do is make you think, I don't need to work on it. When let's be honest, you probably need to work on a lot of these areas. Okay. So be honest. There's no drama. It's okay to have, we're going to do like a red, yellow, green system. It's okay to have lots of reds. It's okay to have lots of yellows. All that's going to do is say, hey, we need to work on this area. Okay. Pretending you're at another level does not help. Okay. So let's do it. So our goal for this week, we're trying to show you how to build a freedom business. All right. Let me share my screen because I'm going to jump into this framework. Our goal is to help you build a freedom business. Most of the people we work with, they want 3 things. Okay. Let me get my slides. They want growth. They want time, and they want profit. Okay. And I say time, I mean time, wealth, and flexibility. Now, 3 ways that we get that, 3 ways to make that happen. Number 1 is a well-oiled team. You can't say you want freedom and then say, I don't want a team. Without other people helping you, you will never have freedom in your business. Never. I promise you. Okay. The next piece of that is well-oiled leadership. All right. We need to learn how to effectively transfer responsibility and hold people accountable. Who knows they need help with that? Say me in the chat. Okay. Now, the third piece is well oiled systems, making sure it's done the way you would do it with consistency every single time. Now, I want to ask you, which one do you think you need the most help with? Team? So let's say team is 1, leadership is 2, systems are 3. Which one in the chat right now do you need the most help with? 1, 2, or 3? Okay. Now, as we start to rate ourselves, okay, red, yellow, green, I want you again to be super honest about this. All right. So you might have a team, but without transferring ownership, it's still running you're still running the show, right? And most likely you're getting frustrated with the people you do have. You might not have trouble delegating or leading, but balls are dropping with no follow through, right? You're just not even sure if like you're delegating the right things. Now, we're going to be going through 9 pillars in a minute, okay? 9 of them. 3 in each category. And I want you to score yourself. So, right now, why don't you even score yourself with just team, right? When you're looking at team, I want you to like get a pen and paper out, write down where do you think you're at, red, yellow, green, obviously. And I'll give you some suggestions of what that looks like as we go through. Let's do that. I think that'll be helpful. Okay. So, let's start with team first. Okay. Anyone that wants to build a business alone, let me just try to convince you a million times that you don't. That sounds absolutely miserable. And if that's you, if you think, I actually do want to build this alone, I bet you haven't done it long enough. All right. Because if you would be building a business alone for years, I can guarantee you, you're not totally happy with the business. And if you're like, no, I actually am, why are you here? There must be something that is missing. There must be something that you're looking for, right? We've got to help you figure out what that is. Now, a team is 100% necessary. And a team could still be contractors, employees, VAs, agency. It just means help. You want help, right? Maybe that's even personal help, a house cleaner, like things like that. All right. How many people right now are helping you? Say the number in the chat. Okay. How many people are helping you right now on your team? I'm going to jump into this. Okay. Now, a team doesn't solve everything. All right. In fact, it can make it messier and more complicated if you don't know what you're doing. All right. So, the first section that I want to cover is roadmap. All right. You need to make sure that everyone is on the same page. Not everyone has to agree, but everyone needs to know where is the business going. Goals are public knowledge. Your team has a critical number and everyone is shooting for, and everyone knows the revenue goal. Now, here's where I want you to assess, and I'm going to put this on the screen so you can easily see this. Where are you? A red. Say it in the chat. R, Y, or G. Red. You don't publicly share your goals with your team. Put R in the chat. Yellow. This is always going to be the kinda, we're working on it. We still have some work to do. And green is yes. Every single person on our team knows our annual goals, our critical number. We know what we're shooting for. We're all on the same page. Why? So we'll put red, yellow, green. You can just put the letters in the chat. Okay. I'm going to go fast because I've got 9 things to cover in a very short amount of time. So just stick with me. Okay. Now, the next piece, all right, is prioritization. Do you ever notice how everything feels urgent? Anytime you want to do something or create something, it's a must do right now. Say yes in the chat. Okay. Probably your team, if they're watching, they're like, everything he or she gives me is urgent, right? The problem is we assign things to team members. Everything feels urgent to them, right? And we know if you have 7 urgent things on your plate with no order priority, there's going to be confusion on what they do first, and most likely what they won't be able to do because they can't read your mind. So they're going to get things out of order. Each person on your team should have key performance indicators. Put KPIs in the chat right now. KPIs, as well as daily, weekly, or monthly reports, depending on their role. All right. Where are you here? Where are you here? Red, there is no prioritization or KPIs. Yellow, kinda working on it a little bit, all the things. Green, you're crushing it. Everybody knows what to do in the order of priority. And yes, they have KPIs. They've got deadlines, they've got dates. All of that is done. Red, yellow, green. I am strictly here today to show you maybe what you don't know, you don't know. We're going to find that out today. Okay, so continue to rate yourself. I would, if I were you, get out a notebook and draw these circles and literally go red, yellow, green, red, right? And put that down as you're doing it. I think that's going to be super helpful. All right, next, ROI, maximizing ROI. Paying your team is going to be one of your biggest expenses, right? Every single month. I mean, our payroll in both my companies together combined, I am spending over six figures, over $100,000 a month in both businesses with payroll. All right. Now, here is the biggest thing you have to understand. If you're not maximizing those team members, you are wasting a lot of money, right? Money that you might not even have. Now, you want to make sure before you try to solve your problems with hiring, you've maximized who's already on your team. All right. So, one of my favorite tools that we use in our business is basically this calendar audit to really look at how much time is spent on projects versus daily routines. All right. Seeing how long someone is spending on Instagram, finding out what your cost is, and are you seeing a return? Do we need to pivot? Do we need to shift? All the things. All right. Business owners usually have no idea what it takes to run their IG. Okay. And they are actually, are they making money? Are they losing money? They don't know. So if you could save money by just stopping doing some of the activities off your plate, imagine what that would get you. All right. So again, where are we here? Red, you have no idea if the team is maxed out. Yellow, you're kind of working on it. Green, all are effective, efficient, and produce an ROI. There is nobody on our team that we would have to fire, clean up. Like, you have A+ players all around. Who are you? All right. Now, as we jump in to this next piece, or I should say, at least before we do, the thing that I want you to know is, I'll ask you this. If you had to pick one of those areas, the same page, the roadmap, right? Prioritization or maximizing ROI, put in the chat right now, which one do you know you would probably need to work on first? Which is the one that is really, you're looking at it and you're going, I know I need this. Okay. Now, I will say, can I do this will you see my screen? Can you see my mouse? Yes. Okay, perfect. So this roadmap and prioritization, I'm telling you, when people get into our programs and they get these two together, these two alone, I'm not kidding. When you put those two together, you could double your business. Like, those two together are so effective. All right. And that is just two of the small pieces of what we're doing here. Okay. So here's what I want you to do right now. Overall, well-oiled team. If you had to give yourself in that whole circle a color, red, yellow, or green, what would you give yourself? Put that in the chat. All right, we're going to keep cruising because we got a lot to cover. Well-oiled leadership. Okay. Number one, we're jumping into team meeting rhythms. They are a must. Once everyone is on the same page, how do you remind them constantly of the vision? Where are we going? What do we need to get there? What are we doing this week? What are we doing today? Why the focus is on X, Y, Z, right? Consistent meetings on the calendar. This should be, meetings with your leadership team, meetings with the entire team, maybe certain departments, one-on-ones with everybody. The frequency is going to vary between those daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. All right. So knowing you're going to need team meetings, rate yourself. There's no meetings. What meetings, right? Y, like you're kind of starting to get there. G, you've got consistent meetings on the calendar with agendas and they are effective. All right. Really start to look at where. Now, I'm going fast, but remember, we're here all week. I'm going to dive in deeper. Tomorrow, I'm going to be diving into really going deep into the team and into leadership. Okay. So we're going to slow down, but today I wanted to give you the overview of everything. All right. So where are you with your meetings? Good. Next, boundaries and communication. This is a big one. This is who knows they have boundary issues? Who knows they've got work to do? Okay. So one of the biggest areas of improvement when I work with somebody is boundaries are sometimes non-existent. There are constant interruptions by team members or other demanding clients, business owners, right? They confuse over-deliver with being taken advantage of. How many of you have done that? You're going, I just want to over-deliver. They're a great client. They didn't pay for that, but I just wanted to give that to them. And now you're resentful. Now they're not paying. Now they expect it, right? All these things are popping up. So where are you with boundaries and communications? So red, I'm constantly being interrupted all day by clients, teams, dings, notifications. I am in reactive mode. That's the R. Yellow, you're a work in progress. Green, you have excellent boundaries and people follow them. Okay. Now, if you're like, no, I have good boundaries, but people don't follow them, you're a work in progress. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Okay. Next, solid foundations. So, one of the most critical times you bring somebody onto your team is in the first 90 days. Can you put that in the chat? First 90 days. It is where you set the tone and set them up for success. And hopefully, in the first 90 days, you're getting an ROI on the work they're producing. Okay. Now, most business owners, they do not properly onboard their team. They didn't go over company values, like they don't even have company values. They do not have an employee handbook, what's expected, right? They just assume people know this stuff, right? Which means we've got to go back and onboard everybody on the current team. We've got to make sure, and maybe your clients, right? Maybe you didn't have great onboarding processes and you didn't have rules and all that. You didn't have a contract, and now it's like you've got this just mess. We've got to go back and onboard and properly set the tone and set the expectations. All right. So onboarding honestly can be with your team, with your clients, everything. All right. Where are you? Red, no systems, no onboarding. You're missing all the things, right? Yellow, you're kind of getting there. Green, you have a rock solid onboarding system. Okay. All right. So looking at all of these team meetings, boundaries, solid foundations, which one, if you could just work on one, just pick one, which one do you believe would help you the most in your business? Put that in the chat right now. Team meetings, boundaries, or solid foundations. I'm not here to have you do 72 different things this week. Imagine if you could just dial in one thing. How do you go from pioneer to pathfinder to power play to powerhouse? It's by dialing in these things one at a time. You want to know how to climb that ladder? It's consistently putting these things into place. Okay. All right. Love it. All right. Next, systems. We're almost done with this model specifically. So I recently brought a program and my experience was fine until I talked to a friend and she had a completely different experience to the point where I said to her, I don't think we bought the same thing, right? And then we discovered, no, I did, but I realized she was getting a way better product than I was, all right? Here's why. It was a lack of systems. It caused inconsistent delivery. This can cost you a fortune. You've got to make sure that you or anyone on your team is delivering a consistent product each and every time. You don't think you need systems? You don't think you're been around a long enough time to put systems in place? If you don't have a product delivery system in place, that needs to be done on day one. The day you start to sell that product, you need this in place. Now, if your systems are in your head or you find yourself winging some of this stuff most of the time, you're going to have problems. So here's the thing. We should all have referrals coming into our business, right? If your product is good, people should be referring you. Am I right? Referrals, word of mouth should be one of the biggest sources of people bringing people your way. Now, think about it. If friends refer friends and they're coming into your program, friends, and they probably talk because they're friends, they're going to find out that you're getting something that they're not, and vice versa, right? You will run into problems. You want to make sure one of the first places you put systems into place is product delivery, okay? So that makes me jump into SOPs. How consistent are these SOP, standard operating procedure, just in case you don't know what that means. This means step-by-step instructions that are carried out by your company the same way every time. Every time. All right. So, how consistent are your SOPs? Rate them. Red, systems are in your head or they're in somebody else's. Okay. Maybe you're like, oh, I don't do onboarding. She does. Well, is it in her head? Because we have a problem, right? Yellow, sometimes you're consistent. Green, consistent every time. If I were to interview any one of you, if I picked randomly a few clients, they would tell me the exact same experience for each person. Okay. All right. Next, leverage. How well are you leveraging your time and your calendar? All right. Is your calendar evolving? You should have a current calendar and a dream calendar, and you should be actively working towards shifting the calendar you need to up level where you're heading. You can't keep your 6-figure habits while trying to build a 7-figure business. If you're a 7-figure business, you got to let go of those 7-figure habits. You've got to step into 8-figure habits, right? The activities on your calendar must reflect where you are going, not where you are. Let me repeat that. The activities on your calendar must reflect where you are going, not where you are. Can we put like an amen in the chat for that? You've got to get that in your head. All right. It's not about where you are. It's where are you going? So how do we manage that? Well, red, your calendar reflects where you are, not where you're going. Okay. Yellow, you're working on it, work in progress. Green, your calendar is future focused and evaluated often. All right. Last piece of this puzzle, ownership. Just because you have a team does not mean you're allowing them to lead. I have seen people with leadership teams, but there are no leaders except the stressed out CEO, right? We've got to allow others to step up and take ownership. Write this down: marketing, operations, fulfillment. We need leaders in all of those categories: marketing, operations, fulfillment. We need leaders in all 3 departments that take full ownership. The CEO does not want to be owning any one of those 3, or you will become the bottleneck in your business. Okay. Where are you? Be honest. No leaders or true leaders that are actually leading. That's a red. Yellow, you're working on it. G, we have all 3 departments with true leaders leading, and the CEO does not own any of them. Okay. I'll be very curious to see this one. Put R, Y, or G in the chat. Now, again, I see lots of reds and yellows. Take the drama out of it. It's just, okay, that's where we are. No problem. That's where we are. It's not where we're going. We're going to get those to greens, but it's where we are right now. You have to be aware to be able to do this. Okay. So, going back to that big picture, I want you to assess overall, what are you seeing? What is this showing you about your business right now? Again, I don't want anybody feeling bad, feeling guilty. Like sometimes people say, people always do those assessments to make people feel bad and want them to buy their product. No, literally. I assess my business every 90 days. When you buy my product in the programs, we're literally making you assess your business anybody in any one of my programs, please verify, like, we do this over and over and over again. Every time. Because if you don't know where you are, you'll never be able to figure out how to bridge the gap to where you want to go. We've got to make sure, like, we all want to scale, right? Everybody wants to scale. And they assume that that means more products, more social media platforms, more everything. I need this, I need that. They assume that's how they scale. But really, it's by starting and staying lean. It's by picking your bestseller and leaning in. It's by utilizing the platforms you're on before you add more, right? We know this. It's about leaning into your one thing. It's not about hiring more team members. It's about maximizing the ones you have. It's about maximizing your calendar, right? Payroll will be one of your biggest expenses. And if you don't learn how to hire, train, and maximize, you're going to overspend. Okay. Another thing we notice is when people come to us, their profit is not in great shape. It's not a number they are even actively tracking. And here's the deal: if you want something to grow, you've got to be tracking it. You've got to be tracking it, right? Now, my revenue goal for 2022, right? I want you to actually write this down. I want you to say what your revenue goal is, and I want you to attach it with a sentence that says, with this % profit margin. When people ask me what my revenue goal is, I never say a certain number without saying percentage of profit margin. And one time somebody said, why do you always do that? And here's why. Because you know this. You can be $1 million, but you spend $1.1 million. You can be $1 million with a 30% profit margin. Who do you want to be? Company A or company B. It doesn't matter about your top line if the profit isn't being talked about. Okay. How do we get you from maybe person A to becoming person B? Right? We've got to start to work this model. Now, here's something I'm so excited my team put together. Let me share my screen real quick so you can see this. If you text scale to the phone number 414, you put a 1 in front of it, 414 240 1379, you can find out your scale score. Okay, scale score. So text the word scale to that phone number, and it's going to take you through some questions, and it's going to be a lot more than we just did, and you're going to find out where you are. Again, this is not to make you feel, if anything, you might go, we're in great shape. We're doing pretty good. Some of you are going to really be at a level where you're excited, but you know there's room for improvement, right? So take a screenshot of that, get that going. I want you to take advantage of that today. It's just a Google form. You're going to love it when you see it. So far, I want to ask you, what do you love about today's training so far? Put it in the chat. What are you loving about what you're hearing? What are some takeaways? What are some ahas? Where are you? Okay. Don't forget, we're wrapping up, but I want to make sure we've got our winners. So make sure you're engaging in the Facebook group, say me in the chat, all those things. I'm going to put up the gift in just a second. This week is all about getting you to that next level. Somebody posted in our Facebook group, quick update. Last year I had 30-ish direct reports. Today I have 5. 30 means 30 different people could message her at any time throughout the day. Now she has 5. Hashtag trust the process. We've got to get you there. Imagine the difference in what your business would feel like, what that would look like. Okay. Okay. So if you want to win today's prize, we are going to do the journal. Say me in the chat. I'm going to be sending this to somebody. While you're saying me in the chat, a couple things I want you to see. We've got a VIP experience. So it kicks off tomorrow. You've not missed anything. It's $47, but tomorrow it's going to go up to $197. Here's what it includes. Tuesday through Friday, an extra 30 minutes of Q&A time with me before we kick off. 3 additional trainings, some goal-setting trainings, creating your bestseller, 7-figure habits, a private one-on-one 25-minute strategy call with a scale specialist this week to help you work through your model, and then recordings in a members-only portal for 90 days. So you get access to all of these trainings, plus the VIP, plus those bonus trainings for 90 days. Go to stacytuschel.com/VIP. Again, tomorrow this price is going up to $197. So get it now for only $47. Okay, I love it. GTG says, reality check, love the honesty I need to have with myself. And that's the thing, guys, it's private. Nobody's seeing what you're writing down, right? This is just for you to assess yourself. It's just for you to really understand what that looks like, okay? Love it. Somebody said, what a steal. Yes, we literally have made this a no-brainer. I expect to see anybody that's going all in on their business in VIP so we can chat tomorrow as well. Now, speaking of going all in, I've just shared with you a pretty massive model that we work through in our program, okay? Well-oiled operations. If any of you want to learn, you're like, I'm so obsessed with this right now. I love it. If any of you want to learn more about how we can help you take your reds and yellows and turn them into greens, comment below the word strategy, and I'm going to DM you how to jump on a call with one of our scale specialists and really help you figure out like what those reds and yellows look like, right? And how we can help you turn those into greens. Okay. So say the word strategy, whether it's on Instagram, that's fine. We'll make sure we look at that as well. And then comment below strategy and we will DM you. Okay. So I know some of you are like, you know, at some point we're going to share more about our program. You know how this works. Trust me when I say I am going to come and over deliver all week. Like every day, tomorrow, here's what we're going through. Tomorrow's big. Scaling up. How to stack your wealth without hiring another team member. I will fix that for tomorrow. How to stack your wealth without hiring another team member, even if you have had a tight grip on everything and have trouble delegating. Every time you say, that's me. Oh, I totally did that. I do that right now. It's okay. We all do it. The only reason I knew to write that is because that was me years ago, right? And the good news is that can be you and you can change. You can, right? We can fix this. So we're a work in progress, right? We are here as a work in progress. So, okay, let's do this real quick. If you want, and I'll stick around for a few more minutes, but if anybody wants to win this, one more time, say me in the chat, and I'm going to call on somebody right now. Do me a biggest favor. say your first name and say me, because if you're on StreamYard and you didn't allow us to pick your name, I see Facebook user. So say your first name and then say me, and I will call on somebody. And then if you have questions, post them in the comments and I'll stick around for about 10 minutes, okay? I'm so excited. We are going to have a really, really great week. All right. We are going with Selena. Oh, shoot. Her name just moved. Selena Serrano. Selena, congrats. Every single day this week, we've got some really cool stuff we're giving away, guys. We've got like this, and you can see we put the shop link down there. If anybody's like, oh, I'm going to buy some of this stuff, we have a mouse pad we're giving away. We have these really cute, can you see these? Powerhouse water bottles. This one I'm really excited about. It's a blanket with the manifesto on it, like a fleece blanket. What else do I have? Ooh, this one I'm okay. This one's Wednesday. Come back Wednesday for sure. Look how cute this is. So this is an actual gold bracelet, and it says, can you see that? It says Powerhouse on it. I'm going to take this off. I'm so excited because I'm actually going to wear this myself. Like I have a couple bangles that I will wear, and it is so cute. Gold bracelet with it. So this is Wednesday. I know that for a fact. So make sure you're here. You can't, like what I said in the beginning, to miss a little is to miss a lot. If you think I'll just pop in for Thursday's title really sounded exciting to me, or Wednesday's title, come every single day. I'm going to build upon it. Tomorrow, I'm diving into the 2 circles. I'm diving into team and leadership. Then the next day, I will dive into systems. We're going to go heavy on systems. Then day 4, we're going to talk a little bit about the mindset behind becoming a good leader. It's not fluff. Trust me when I say that's probably the reason you haven't been able to step into it. Okay. Friday, we're talking 5 7-figure money mistakes. Okay. John said, is this going to be available for replay on Facebook? We are going to keep these links up all week, probably through the weekend. So you can keep watching these all week, okay? But then we are going to pull them. All right. Good. Yeah, yes. Definitely come back. Yes. Maria says, I resonate with you because you speak to brick and mortar businesses. Yeah, you're going to hear me all week speaking to brick and mortar and online. I have both. So that's what I had to figure out how to use. Okay. All right. Love it. Thank you, Jen. Oh, you're the best. I appreciate you. Will we discuss KPIs specifically this week? Yes, KPIs is tomorrow. Do not miss tomorrow if you want to learn KPIs. And we'll have some gifts and some templates we're going to be giving out all week. Today, the one I want you taking advantage of is the quiz. I'm going to go deeper. When you realize you have to write down, wow, we're not doing this, write that down as a future to do. Okay. Yeah, the recording will be up as soon as I jump off of here. Step 1, to maximize ROI. So that is one of the things we're going to dive in tomorrow into well-oiled team, and we'll go over that. Okay. Team, if somebody could help the person that's trying to text the number, that number only works if you're in the United States or Canada. I think if you're international, shoot us an email, info@stacytusha.com. Okay. Any other questions I can answer? Please, please, please post it. I thought I saw somebody on Instagram post a question. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Marketing, operations, and fulfillment. Yes, marketing, operations, and fulfillment. All right, it's good. Can you post the number again? Yes, I can. Let me go back a few slides. Here you go. No worries. Okay. And the link with the 47 no worries is stacytusha.com/VIP. Where are the best places to post hiring ads? Okay. Great question, Selena. So as far as hiring, I'm gonna say one that I don't think a lot of people utilize. I actually think the best place to hire is your social media platforms. Okay. Now, it's not about who's following you. It's about who's following you and who do they know. We forget it's not about the 500 followers we have, but how many people do those followers know? Do you know when you give a really good description of like what the job is and who it's for and who you're looking for? If it's good, somebody's going to go, oh, my sister should apply for that. Oh, my friend is unhappy in her job. I think she'd be killer at this. You don't know who your people know. Okay. Now I have people that are like, oh, but Stacy, like, I get this. They're like, I have a big following. I don't want them to be fan girls or fan, right? I don't want them to be, I totally get it. I totally get it. However, you can be a fangirl and still be totally normal. Like I fangirl over people too, but if they hired me, I'd be legit, right? Our people too. Now, obviously, yes, there are some people that aren't going to be a good fit, but when you interview well, you'll figure that out. All right. So I really do want to make sure that you're not taking advantage of your social media and saying to people, if anybody would share this on their profile, that would be awesome. Like we're looking for a great fit for an amazing company, all the things. Don't miss out on that opportunity. Okay. We've actually gotten quite a few people. When I say on a podcast that we're hiring this next person, from our podcast, we'll have people that apply or that they've sent it to their sister or their friend or all the things. Great question. All right. Yes. Thank you for putting that there. That is the link to jump into VIP. I see lots of people jumping into VIP. I'm really excited. We are going to be kicking off tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central. If you cannot jump on early, you're going to get access to all the recordings of additional coaching and hot seats. You see how jam-packed this content is? It doesn't get any lighter. I am over-delivering like this should be a paid challenge, and maybe one day it will be, but I'm going to over-deliver all week. We're not going to have time to do what we're going to do on those extra calls. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. All right, guys, we are going to jump off tomorrow. It's a big day. We're covering 2. If you thought I went fast today, tomorrow we get to deep dive into just 2 of them. I tried to get all 3 into one, but that did not work. So we're going to go into 2. And then the third day, I'm going to jump into the third one. All right. Now, real quick, this last thing I'm going to say. You got excited. You signed up for a reason. You're here. Will you come back tomorrow? Will something get in the way? Is this one of those other shiny objects, quick fixes you thought would just be this easy, like moneymaker activity? And all of a sudden you're going, oh, this sounds hard. Yeah, this just doesn't sound like this is going to work for me. Or I don't really know that I have time to do this. So you just don't show up tomorrow. Okay. What I want you to understand is all of the strategies that are worth doing are going to take your time. They're going to take your energy, right? I don't want you to hear in your head and say, this sounds hard, and then cop out. Okay. I want you here tomorrow. Okay. Maria just said, I will be here. Post in the chat right now. I'll be here. Commit to yourself. Now let's go back to the word confidence. To confide, to trust in you. Do you trust that you can implement this? Do you trust that you can step into really being a powerhouse now? Powerhouses show up. They go all in. I had friends, I was shocked. I was just at this event for 3 days and we're in Mexico. So trust me, it's not easy to leave 85-degree weather to go in a freezing cold ballroom inside with no windows. But I was there every day. I did not miss an ounce, a minute. We were there at one time at 8 p.m. We went till 12:30. Friends were leaving. Friends were tired. Friends were sneaking out. You guys, I go to bed at 9 o'clock. I was exhausted. I was tired. I stayed there. I stayed up later on Saturday or whatever day it was, Friday. Then I stayed up on New Year's Eve. Okay. I didn't even make it till midnight on New Year's Eve. All right. But I'm not going to miss an ounce of this. And if you are truly a powerhouse, you will be here. You will consume. You will bring your team back. You'll get a friend or an accountability partner to show up here with you. You will do the work. You will do what it takes because you are a powerhouse. Sound good? All right. Have a phenomenal rest of your day. I will see some of you bright and early tomorrow morning, 10:30 in VIP. I'm so excited to have you and your energy. It's been phenomenal. I'll be back here tomorrow at 11 for those of you that will be here for day 2. I will see you then. Bye, everyone.